What's up YouTube? On this episode of Piston Head Garage, I am tearing into this 30-year-old twin-turbo V6 engine. Hey guys, I'm Garrett. Welcome to another episode of Piston Head Garage. It's been a while, but I am back and I'm bringing to you another wrenching video. In today's video, I'm ripping this engine apart. If you don't know what this is a VG30DETT. It's a 3-liter V6 twin-turbo engine. Made by Nissan, and it comes in the Fairlady or 300ZX. This is out of my girlfriend's 1990 Fairlady right-hand drive car, and it has a few issues. It's leaking lots of fluids from a lot of places. There's low compression on cylinder 6, and it's just, all in all, is an old engine. I mean, it's 30 years old. So in this video, I'm going to tear it apart. We're going to take a look at the bores and at the bearings, and basically, all in all, give it a health report and see if it's worth rebuilding. Hopefully, as long as things aren't damaged, we're going to re-ring it and put new bearings in and reseal everything with all new gaskets, and hopefully get this thing fresh and new again. In the process, we're going to do a couple upgrades to basically get some more performance out of this engine as well, because although it's not a common engine to work on, at least in terms of simplicity's sake, it does have potential, and it can make a decent amount of power with the right amount of work done to it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to see if we can push more power to there so we can maybe keep up with the Skyline. So anyway, stick with me and we'll start tearing this apart. First things first is to pull everything off the front.
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the Tahoe close, it starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. I laid awake just begging to let go. I almost got to suicidal thoughts, but you stepped in. An angel sent from heaven showed me how to live again. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop?
Alright guys, so I've got the front of the engine basically disassembled. All the accessories are off, water pump, all the rat hose, piping and everything. As you can see, I didn't drain the block before taking it apart, and I paid the price by making a huge mess on the floor. So if you're doing this yourself, don't be stupid like me. But anyway, the reason why I wanted to pause in between here is just to show you these engine mounts, or what's left of them. So yeah, they're completely separated. When we dropped the engine out, we dropped it out at the bottom, and it was sitting on top of the subframe, so you couldn't really tell until I went to remove the subframe. I lifted the engine up, and the subframe stayed on the ground. So yeah, those are getting replaced. Also, you can just see, like, there's just so much goo on everything, and these turbos are just, wow. There's a lot of janky looking rubber lines that are getting kind of old. These lines here are the oil cooler lines. This thing had a factory oil cooler, or has a factory oil cooler, but I cut those hoses because they're going to get replaced. But yeah, I mean, there's really not much to it. It's just taking things apart. Make sure you label stuff. I have everything, although the bench is a mess right now, everything is in bags, all the bolts that go to each part. So I have them all labeled so we know where everything goes, as well as this video, of course, will be reference for when we go to assemble it, along with the the service manual. Definitely get a service manual if you're going to be doing this sort of stuff on any engine. with my 2J, did the same thing. So I think the next step, I'm gonna try to take all these hoses. There's all these like lines and hoses all over the place. I'm gonna try to get them off and get them out of the way because they are in the way of the turbos and the bolts to get the turbos and manifolds off. Because the next step for me would be get the turbo manifolds off and the turbos, get the mounts off, and then I can start taking the actual heads off. I want to get all that crap done first. So let's go ahead and see if we can figure that out.
Writers write what they know. Liars write what they wanna show. Singers sing what they told. But I know you got something else to say. Like secret language, speaking in tongues. Snake like tongue tied, you on the run. Tribal dancing, I don't know what you are, you are, you are, you are. Summer floating over my heart. We're both dancing over the dark side. I don't know who you are, you are, you are, you are. You got letters sprinkled all over your body. If I join up the dots, it makes me feel naughty. I feel like I shouldn't touch. You got a no touching sign. I feel like I shouldn't run. You're blocking the exit with your life. Addicted to light, center, always in the limelight. Show ya a real good time. Oh, I know you got something else for me. Like secret language, speaking in tongues. Snake like tongue tied, you on the run. Tribal dancing, I don't know what you are, you are, you are, you are. Summer floating over my heart. We're both dancing over the dark side. I don't know who you are, you are, you are, you are. You got letters sprinkled all over your body. If I join up the dots, it makes me feel naughty. I feel like I shouldn't touch. You got a no touching sign. I feel like I shouldn't run. You're blocking the exit with your life. Touching sign. You're blocking the exit with your life.
All right, and there you have it. The block is about 99% torn down. There's still oil squirters underneath that need to get removed before I can clean everything up. And I'm going to take pictures of all the bolts that are in the block right now, and then and the studs here, like that stud right there, so I know where they'll go. And I'm going to pull them all out. And I'm on the fence. I might have this sent out for cleaning because I don't really have anywhere to clean it in my shop. It's winter time. It's like minus 20 degrees Celsius right now, so can't really bring it outside with a pressure washer, so I'm not sure I'm going to do that yet. Maybe somebody in town can do it. I don't know. Anyway, so let me get a light here for you. I did a quick visual on the cylinder walls, just a little scrub. And hang on. Some focus. Can't really see in there too well, I guess, but it's really clean. Like there's almost no ridge at the top. Like I can't even feel it where the piston stops travel. Well, there's a little bit, but barely anything there. So like all in all, it's in really good shape. surprisingly enough, because the thing was not running the greatest, but that's okay. I mean, looking at the bearings, if I come over here, well, you can't really see on here, but all the crank journals are in really good shape. All the bearings on the rods, the column rod bearings, are all in really good shape. And like the pistons themselves are covered in oil because when I put the engine upside down, all the oil from the oil pan went into the pistons, into the back of them. But they're also in really good shape. Like there's some carbon buildup, but I mean that's to be expected. This engine's got well, actually, it doesn't have a lot of kilometers on it, but it's been ridden pretty hard, so pretty good shape. The cool thing about this as well is we are ordering OEM bearings to replace everything with, and Nissan is kind of interesting when they do their engine assembly. I can't really probably show you without picking this up, and I don't have two hands. But anyway, right there where the two halves of the column rod meet, there's a stamping. If it's upright, like facing this way, that's the cylinder number, and then there's some numbers that face this way on the other side that indicate the grade. And when you're ordering bearings, you just basically mark down the grade of each of these column rods, and you compare it to the grade of the crank journals for the column rods here, and those numbers are stamped on the end of the counterweight. Let's see if I can. You can see there that those numbers, those are the grades of the main journals. So when you're ordering bearings for the crank itself, for the mains, that's what you're looking at there. And on the other side, on the other counterweight, there's 6 stampings for the column rod bearings. So it makes it really easy to order OEM bearings if you're going that route, which we are because it's easier that way. Yeah. So that's pretty much all there is to it so far. Everything kind of went fairly smoothly. The shop is an absolute disaster, but that's to be expected. So for now, we're going to send everything out that we can, probably the heads, because they should be cleaned properly and professionally. I don't have the cleaning stuff for that either. But everything else, all the small parts, the oil pump, the pistons and rods, all the hardware, bolts and stuff, the manifolds, everything's going to go into my parts washer and get cleaned up. And then hopefully we can, the parts have already been ordered for the engine. We still have to order the bearings because I just figured out what they are now. But the bearings will be here, and then basically it's just going to be assembly. There's a little bit of prep work we're going to do in the engine bay, like cleaning things up. The wiring harness is being replaced with a brand new wiring specialties harness. So that's getting all replaced, so it's got to get ripped out of there. The fuel filter and fuel lines are getting relocated, so they're not like way up there. They're going to be down hidden somewhere. So a few things to do, but we'll get there when we get there, and of course we'll have videos of that. Alright guys, so that's all I have for you on this video. The block is torn down. I'm not going to do videos of us cleaning every single part because, I mean, you're cleaning oil on dirt off parts. It's pretty straightforward. So when we come back, the next episode will be starting to reassemble the short block and getting everything ready to go back in the car. So if you want to see that video, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss it. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And just, stick around, and there's lots more stuff to come. So make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram as well. As always, I'm Garrett, and I'll see you next time on Piston Head Garage.